Hello there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. I've got shenanigans with me again today, and I am once again in the library, the beautiful Farmington Community Library, going to be talking to you about a book that I am really excited to talk about. Even though I feel like I'm going to get judged for this, and that's totally fine. I'm okay with that. But this is a book that I want to talk about for a couple different reasons. The first reason is because there is a very popular Netflix show based on this book that's out right now. And the other reason I want to talk about it is because it's getting a lot of hype. It's getting a lot of buzz. And I thought I should probably read this and see what this is all about so I can talk about it with you guys. And a lot of times I find that when I go into a book with the sole purpose of, I want to see what this is all about, I want to do a video about it, I end up loving it, like unironically loving it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I am totally caught up in the hype and I can see what it's all about. And dear friends, yes, that is 100% what happened to me in this situation as well. And the book that I'm talking about is The Hunting Wives by Cobb. The Hunting Wives. So I feel like this is probably a book that even if you haven't read it, you may have heard of it, or you've at least heard of the TV show, because it is all the rage right now. Everybody is talking about it. And in fact, I heard of the TV show first, and then when I looked into it a little bit more, I was like, oh my God, this is based on a book. Okay, I need to immediately read it. And then found out all of the buzz and stuff that's going on, the hype that's going on with the book as well. So I read the book, shall I say I devoured the book, and then I went and watched the first season of the television show because I wanted to be able to compare them and contrast them. And I blew through both of them. The book I read in like 2 sittings, I feel like. I could not put it down. I thought it was very, very enjoyable. I think it's the kind of thing that you have to go into it understanding that this is not deep, profound literature, okay, right? This is not like Tolstoy, this is not Dostoevsky, this is not Woolf, this is not Hemingway. This is a book that is just a fun thrill ride with a salacious edge to it. And it's just a really fun, it's just a good time. This book is a day at an amusement park, okay? It's cotton candy and corn dogs and riding on roller coasters. And it's something that you're like, I don't want to do this every day. Oh my God, I would die. But it's fun every once in a while, right? It's just fun. So this book is I said it was a thrill ride, and it is, because there is definitely like a thriller mystery aspect to it. But there's also just this book is really about just dark obsession, okay? So let's talk about it. So the book is about a young woman named Sophie who had this high-profile job in Chicago. She had a husband, she's got a young son, but it was proving to be too much for her. So they decided they needed a change of pace, packed up and moved to this town in Texas, this town that she grew up in Texas. Very low-key, like, much slower pace, things like that. She's got a garden now that she's working on. She's going to the farmer's market. She's doing this blog about rural living. And she is completely and totally bored out of her mind. Yeah, she's totally bored. So she ends up getting completely wrapped up in this socialite that lives in the area named Margot. And she starts out by, she goes to this party and like sees her in the distance, and then she starts Facebook stalking her. I'm not excusing the Facebook stalking, but we've all been there, right? We've all done that. We've all done the social media stalking of somebody that we are like completely fascinated or interested in, right? Or attracted to. We've been there. So we could totally understand Sophie doing that at this point. So she completely stalks Margot online, finding all this stuff about her. And she ends up, through a series of circumstances, having this conversation with Margot, and gets invited to this like exclusive club that Margot runs, which is called the Hunting Wives, where they basically go out on Friday nights and they do some hunting, and they also go out and do these partying extravaganzas too. They go into local cities and do these parties that tend to get a little bit out of control in various ways. But Sophie is completely enamored with Margot. I mean, obsessed, intense, obsessed with Margot. And she gets drawn further and further into Margot's world, this world of excess and money and parties and scandalous liaisons. We'll leave it at that. And later on in the book, a body of a teenage girl turns up in an area where the hunting wives usually go for their hunting and stuff. So they have to. Sophie now is in the middle of a murder investigation, and she's not really sure how much of an influence Margot or any of these other women that she's been spending time with, what their connection to this murder is, because there are definitely a lot of clues and a lot of signs that say that they are connected to it. So now Sophie is dealing with this, being embroiled in this group, right? This really intense group, but also with this murder investigation. So that sounds like standard thriller fare, right? Like you've heard this story before. What makes this book so different? So the thing that makes this book so different, I think, is that the author does not shy away from showing you the dirty, filthy underbelly of all of these characters. Like Sophie is our main character, but you may not like her very much. I still don't really know how I feel about Sophie. Because there's a lot about her I liked, but there's a lot about her that was ugly. And the same thing with Margot, and the other characters in the story as well. Like there's things that I liked about them all, but they are fundamentally very flawed people, which made them feel more real, I think. And even though I didn't really care about them in the sense that I wanted good things to happen to them, but it was like a train wreck. I could not stop reading. I could not look away from these disastrous women who just were doing all these horrible things and committing all these scandalous decisions. I could not look away. And this book is very salacious. Like it's very spicy. So if you are kind of there's a relationship that develops between Margot and Sophie. I mean, you can kind of tell right from the beginning when Sophie starts following Margot on social media and the way she thinks about her, and you're like, oh, she totally has a crush on her, and she does. And there is a lot of scandalous connection between the two of them, and between a lot of the other characters in this book. So this book does not shy away from the sex spicy scenes. This book is chock full of them, but they're not the main focus of the book. The main focus of the book is Sophie and her spiraling out of control with her addiction to Margot and these other people in the Hunting Wives Club. And I just couldn't look away. Like I said, sometimes you want a book that is just fun and dirty and a quick read, and it's going to just be pure entertainment, and that's exactly what this is. This book is not going to make you think very deep thoughts. This book is not going to elevate you to another plane of like literary transcendence, but it is going to make you it's going to entertain you. And sometimes I just love a book that does that. So is it worth reading the book, or should you just watch the show? Well, obviously I'm going to tell you to read the book. I thought the book was better. I always think the book is better, so that's really not a very big surprise. But I particularly thought the book was better because I really loved, the book is told from Sophie's point of view, and I really loved watching Sophie spiral into obsession. And while we are watching it happen in the show, it feels more personal, and it feels more like we're connected to the characters when we're watching it through their mind, which is why I liked it better. So the show was fabulous. I think the people they chose for the actors, particularly for Margot and Sophie, I thought were just amazing. I'm really, really hoping that they end up doing a season 2. I would recommend reading the book first and then watching the show, because I think you will get more out of the show if you know the background thoughts of most of the characters before doing that. But that's just my opinion. You could just jump into the show and see if you like it, and you're like, all right, this is pretty cool, and then go back to read the book. It's totally up to you. But this is getting so much buzz and hype right now. Is it worth it? In my opinion, yes. But again, that really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for just a fun, salacious, spicy thrill ride that's going to keep you completely entertained, like a day out at an amusement park, go for it. If you're looking for something a little deeper, a little more poignant, maybe this isn't it. But quite a fun ride. Highly, highly recommend it. It was just it was something else. Entertaining for sure. The Hunting Wives. Well, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that this book sounds really cool and that you're interested in even maybe reading it or watching the TV show on Netflix. If so, if you do want to read the book, you can pick it up from Farmington Community Library. Please feel free to do that. And also, I want to thank you so very much for watching, friends. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.